But as the government shutdown continues, you might have some questions, some to do with the IRS, and here with us to give us the answer now is certified public accountant Tony Huffman with Huffman & Company. Thank you for being here, Tony.
Good to be back.
What's up with the IRS? Anything? Or
they're shut down for the most part.
Can you, of course, obviously, you still need to, or should have by the 15th of this month, if you filed an extension, already have filed your taxes.
Right.
And so even though they're shut down, they're going to want that.
They still want you to file. So there's been no additional extension provided just because they've been shut down. And if you go to the IRS.gov website, they'll say you're still required to file your tax returns by any due date, even though we're shut down. We may not process it, but you still need to file.
Yeah, that's a question. I guess if you're expecting a return, if you did, and I'm going by the 15th of the, because if you filed April 15th, all this should have been taken care of. But if you filed a late return by the October 15th extension deadline, and you were expecting a refund from the federal government, will they process it now, or is it going to be after the government opens back up?
No, if you electronically filed your tax return, you should still get your refund within that normal 10 to 15 business days that they tell you that they'll send out the refunds. If you snail mailed your return for whatever reason, they won't even open that tax return up until the government reopens, and then there will probably be some length of time before they get through all the mail. I can remember back in 2000 when we had the last shutdown in 18, and then it bled right into COVID. The IRS ended up being about 75 million pieces of mail behind, which we're not even sure they've still caught up with all that.
Yeah, people are still waiting.
Yeah, so that, go back to some of our conversations earlier in tax season. Electronically file is a sure way of making sure the IRS gets your tax return, and it's a sure way to ensure that your tax refund will be sent to you timely.
What else do we need to know about the shutdown that's going to affect us right now?
Well, I think if you've got any outstanding issues with the IRS, maybe you've had a correspondence audit going on where they sent you a letter that says something doesn't match on the tax return in our system, you're not going to get a response on that.
Okay.
If you've been sent a bill that you owe and you don't agree with, and you've sent them a piece of correspondence back to say, I don't think I owe this, you're not going to hear from them a while. So we're just telling our clients that patience is the key word during this time. We've been through this cycle for the last 5 years a number of times, and patience is just, you're going to have to be patient, and even when the service comes back online and starts opening mail again, it'll be 4, 5, 6 months before we can even get resolution to issues.
Now, if you file quarterly, if you're self-employed and you send in your payments quarterly, obviously those still need to go in.
Oh, yeah.
Do you need to make sure, like, send it in registered so that make sure you've got the...
We recommend that you have proof that you mailed it on a timely basis. So, and that goes not just with your payments, but that's tax returns, and really any correspondence you send to the IRS that you want to have a record that you send it on a timely date.
By a certain
always send registered mail.
Yeah. So I guess you're kind of just taking a vacation at your office, right?
Oh yeah, exactly what we do. We shut down. We're not doing anything until January the 1st. No, our work still goes on. So while the IRS is shut down, our work is still going on. We're still year-end planning and getting ready for next tax season. There's a lot of new, tax law changes that came out of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act that we will see implemented with the 25 tax filing season. So our work never ends. So the IRS gets this time off, and I can tell you, most of the IRS people that I know and the agents that I know, they don't enjoy the furlough time. It puts them behind in their work, and it makes their life more difficult when they come back to work. So, I feel for them, and I know what a difficult time it's going to be when they come back. But our work doesn't stop because we still have filing obligations, regardless of whether the service is open or not.
I would imagine not being able to get information and not being able to get anybody on the telephone might even make your job a little harder right now, because you can't get answers to questions that you need to get an answer to before you can finish up a project.
It does, and when I say the word patient, I mean everybody needs to be patient. And so clients need to understand that we're not getting a response back from the IRS, and it's not because we're not doing our job, it's because there's nobody there to open up that piece of mail.
Real quickly, is there going to be any effect on the April 15th filing season if this continues?
Right now we're being told no, but it remains to be seen because there's new tax changes that have to be implemented. The IRS has to run those changes through their system so that they're ready to go, but we're being told right now that we're kicking off in January.
Well, but so far, nobody in Congress has said, hey, I got an idea, let's open this thing back up. So, thank you, Tony.
Yeah, good to see you again.
I'm sure you'll be back here with this thing going on. You'll be back soon enough. And there's how you can get in touch with Tony Huffman at Huffman & Company, CPA, PA. And there's the telephone number right there if you need to give him a call.